Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Garden. I'm Jeremy. And if you haven't done so already, get out, dig in, and feel your worries melt away. I know I have, but very, very early in the morning. Very early in the morning. It's been triple digits. Triple digits the last few, and for the foreseeable future coming up here, it's also going to continue in the triple digits. And yeah, all I got to say is keep yourself hydrated. Glass of water or pink lemonade, that's my choice. Whatever you choose, as long as it's hydrating, drink lots of it, especially if you're outside. Even if you're not in the direct sunlight, even 9 o'clock at night, when if it's 90 degrees outside, you can still get heat stroke. It doesn't matter if the sun is on you or not. It's heat stroke because it's about the heat. Anyways, with that, you're thinking, what is going on over here on this other little side? And today I'm going to do a review. I'm hiding from the 100-degree heat outside right now. So I'm going to figure this would be a good time to do a couple reviews and kind of get those in. And some of them I'm going to shoot and I'll post later, so I don't do a whole bunch of reviews back to back. This one, however, will be a part 1 and a part 2, but don't worry, you won't have to wait because I'm going to post them both at the same time, back to back. Now, part 1 will be discussing directgardening.com, which is an online nursery to buy live plants. Now, I've always figured that I was going to do reviews of the online services that I do use for buying everything that I buy, whether it's just seeds or live plants and what have you. So this is the first of one of those reviews. It's also not very glowing, I'm sorry to say. But we're not going to nitpick and get into a bunch of nasty negative type stuff. Things are what they are, and unfortunately in this situation it didn't turn out so good. In fact, it actually turned into, the whole thing was so ridiculous that it was kind of hilarious. You know how when things are just so wrong that all you can really do is laugh because you're just like, of course. Of course that also happened. That's why it's a two-part, because it's not just the company itself that I dealt with, it also has to do with the shipping company that was involved getting things to me. They bungled everything equally as bad on their part. And so even though they're both separate, let's dig into it. So I spent $85 and change. I bought some plants. I've never used direct gardening before, but I was interested in the climbing shell vine. Now this is a zone 9 planting, which I have a zone 9 iris out in my front yard, which is north facing, and so it keeps growing back every year. Even though I should only be up to a zone 8, I'm classed as a zone 7, but realistically I'm a zone 8. But this one particular zone 9 plant has been doing just fine, and it actually gets blasted by the brunt of the cold air. However, cold winter air, it is a bulb, so it's underground, it's hiding, so it's not getting hit by that cold air, which is probably why that zone 9 plant is surviving. But I have a microclimate in my backyard that I thought the climbing shell vine would be absolutely perfect. And I think, according to some of my little manual measurements outside with temperature, that I can get away with a zone 9 plant right there. So that led me to direct gardening, and for this particular plant. So I picked out 8 plants. After 50 bucks, you get free shipping and a free plant, I believe was the deal that you go. So 9 plants I'm looking at receiving from them. Now, these plants are only available to purchase in springtime, and they only ship them in springtime. They had a shipping date 1 week after the time of my purchase, so I said, oh, okay, well, you know what, I'll give them a try. I wanted to buy a lot more, but I've never used them before. I'm, just going to spend under 100 bucks and see how it goes. Well, here's how it went. 2 weeks goes by, still not shipped. 3 weeks goes by, finally, two of the 9 plants get shipped out. Everything else, according to the site, says that they are still available, and yada, yada, yada. They just have a shipping date that is now pushed out a little bit further. But they're still available. Realistically, that very first package that they sent me was a large enough box that every single plant that I ordered could have more than easily have fit in that box. More than easily. I have used several other online nurseries, and they can pack a lot of stuff in those boxes with a little tape to hold everything in place, and I've never had an issue. So I was surprised when I saw the box, like why they didn't just throw in those smaller plants. I mean, some of them were bulbs. I mean, they're just bulbs. But hey, it's free shipping. You know what? If they want to spend money to multiple shipments, it's a waste of their money, not mine. So I get those 2 plants. And there's an antidote with the shipping with that one, but I'll leave that for my next part 2, which covers Fedex. And a week goes by. Now, I'm looking at the ship dates, and so it says, well, it's supposed to ship, by like April 22nd or something. So on the 22nd, you go, and it's like, nope, no tracking number. Everything is now bumped back to like the 27th, and then it's May, and, you're like, wait a minute, okay, so now it's coming on to the end of May. Where is my ship? Oh, wait, 1 package comes out. I get 2 more plants at the end of May, like a month and a half later from my original purchase date. I get a second box with 2 plants. So I now have 4 of the 9 plants that they're shipping me. Again, FedEx, part 2. So, this is frustrating, right? So every time I look in, it's like bump back, oh, it's not going to be for another 2 or 3 days that we're going to ship them out. And then another 2 or 3 days goes by, and then it's like, oh, it's going to be another 2 or 3 days before we ship them out. And then all of a sudden they're like back ordered, out of stock, and blah, 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 and it's bouncing back and forth. Like one day it's available, one day it's not. And it's like, are they available or not? Are they not? What's going on? I mean, how are you even trying to fulfill orders? This makes no sense. I mean, you go, you pick up all the plants, and you set them down together, and then you box them all together, or if you're going to make them in multiple shipments, it doesn't matter. The way you should do it is you take all of your plants. I've worked at a nursery before. You take all your plants and you put them together, you group them, that this is for that particular person. Yeah, this person. They're all grouped together. Whether or not you're going to ship them out all together or not, you have them combined. You go and you pluck them off of where they are and keep them separated in an area for them to be ready to get shipped out. Now, another month goes by, and I'm like, I contact them. First of all, I contact them. It's like, hey, when are the rest of them? They're like, well, it should be out, and this is like 3 days later. Well, that 3 days came by, nothing, all that. So then a week goes by, and I get a hold of them again, and they don't respond. And then another week goes by, and I'm like, hey, hello, and they don't respond. And then they finally responded, a couple of days later, and they're like, sorry, things have just been, kind of chaotic, short on people. Your stuff is scheduled to be out, top priority to get shipped out. Okay, so another month goes by. We're looking at 3 months now, just shy of 3 months. I still don't have these last 4 items. 5 items. So, anywho, they finally get one out, and that comes. And because I sent them another email, and I said, hey, look, we're coming up on 3 months now. This is ridiculous. Send me my plants where I want the rest of my money back for these plants. That's it. Send me my plants or give me the money back that I spent on these plants, because this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Customer support does not exist. It's not good. It's not good. But anyway, so I get 2 plants, and then I get 2 more a few days later, and then I finally get the last single plant to come and arrive. So 5 shipments. It took them 5 shipments in 3 months. It took them to get my plants that I ordered in April. These are plants that, had they arrived in April, 3 of them are vines. Those vines should be an easy 15, 20 feet right now, full of flowers. But they are small, 3 to 6 inches tall right now, because some of you have already noticed. Climbing shell vine, direct gardening. The very top search result right here. If I type in the word zone, then it gives me these results, which immediately piqued my interest, because when they were getting shipped out to me, I was puzzled, because there was 3 different locations in the United States that my plants were getting shipped from. And I was like, well, do they have 3 different areas where they do nurseries? Because what, what is somebody driving 9 hours to go and ship it off at a different place? How does that happen? What's going on? But and then it all kind of got tied together. If you look here, right below it, climbing shell vine, 4 Seasons nurseries. Look at that little favicon of the sunflower. Look at that image right there. Look at the price. Look at the description. When you see how fragrant flowers, when you see how fragrant plants, and if you read the whole thing, it's all exactly the same. And then you look down at the next one, Climbing Shell Vine E. Burgess Seed and Plant Company. The same. If you click and jump to this website where I actually purchased it from, you get this type of a website. Now, don't bother with the little "we also suggest" stuff down at that part, because that part does work, but on one of them it's not popping up. But if you look over here at all of this checkout stuff, there you go. If you look at the description, there you go. Everything is the same. You know, you got the stuff, you got your little Direct Gardening logo up there. That's great. But let's come over here. Notice anything different? The only thing different is that the nursery name, the little icon up there for the actual nursery, is different. Everything else is the same. You know where these three places are located? In the exact same three locations that my plants were getting sold from. That tells me that there is an umbrella system going on. There is an owner, there's a main company that is owning, and they're doing three different companies in three different locations. Instead of doing direct gardening and having it located in three different locations and all being underneath the same name umbrella, in which case they would be keeping track of the same plants in all three locations equally as one business, they are trying to juggle three separate businesses, each one keeping their own inventory tracking, and then trying to keep it all organized. Now, originally, I figured because of the pandemic, there has still, it's been a couple of years, but there's still a bunch of businesses that are struggling to find people to work. And, so I'm figuring, okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've got some people shortages, and they probably do, actually do. But by trying to take three separate businesses and running them underneath the same umbrella with three separate different storefronts online. I mean, that's fine. Three different storefronts down here on the ground where people can walk in and buy stuff. Yeah, that's fine. But when you're doing business online, you need one website that is doing everything together, not separately. And that is the primary reason why they were having such a hard time of actually knowing if they had that item to even be able to sell me. So the items that I bought were coming from three different locations, three different nurseries. And I wanted to be, next year, I'll give them another shot to see how they do, because I've had plenty of success with other online nursery companies with no issues whatsoever. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a try next year. But now that I know that there are three different businesses trying to juggle things together underneath one, but also three separate altogether, is honestly ridiculous. It's not the way it should go. You guys, obviously you have a love for plants, and that's great. And I like the plants that you are offering. It's wonderful. But you need to either all be the same company so that all of that inventory is getting clocked in the same exact database, not 3 separate databases, and then trying to work it into something that works as one online. It needs to be 3 separate. So you either need to be all Four Seasons Nursery or Direct Gardening or E. Burgess, whatever name you come up with. You need to combine all of those resources and become one entity. Or separate yourself and literally just do business as 3 different businesses. Because that's obviously what you're doing. But you're trying to utilize the nursery stock from these other nurseries that are part of that same umbrella. You need to stop doing that. If you stop doing that, all of your shipping problems that you're having will go away. Even if you have a people shortage, your shipping problems will go away. Your customers' satisfaction is going to go up. So in the future, if you should put everything, get all your ducks in a row, and either separate yourselves completely from each other and don't rely on each other for stock, then get a hold of me and I'll give you a try. Or become one entity, all working for the same goal. Then I'll give you a try. Until then, Direct Gardening, Four Seasons, and E. Burgess, which sell all the same plants for all the same price. I won't use you. You are now on my do not use list. And that's sad. I don't want to say that. Because you do offer a bunch of stuff that I would love to buy. I could see myself spending an easy $1,000. But I'm not gonna. So get a hold of me when you change that. Till then, thanks for watching. Click that like, hit subscribe, and remember there was a part 2 where I will kind of go into the fiasco with Fedex that was completely associated with this, because all 5 separate orders all got bungled. FedEx bungled every single one of them. Just to add, kick them while they're down. Yes. But, I guess I spent $85. One last little thing. I spent $85. And in 5 shipments, plus the free plant, I guarantee that between 5 shipments, separate shipments, and 1 free plant, I guarantee they just forked out more than $85 worth. So, yeah. Okay, this time I'm out. I'm Jeremy, and this is my garden.